Hey guys, hi, I'm Arjun. I lead growth at Matic. For those who may not be aware, Matic Network is one of the most very successful blockchain project out of India. We're a layer two scaling solution built on top of Ethereum to essentially allow Ethereum developers to do more interesting things, build more immersive experiences, or rather, like how I like to put it, build Web 2.0 like experiences for a Web 3.0 audience. So for those blockchain developers out there, I really would love that if you guys build some interesting solutions on Matic. For the purpose of InOut, so we've been associated with DevFolio for a while. We've sponsored many events, and for InOut, we put together a prize pool of $1,500. So essentially, three prizes of $500 each to three teams who build something super interesting in the blockchain space. If you'd like to know more about Matic, just check out our website. We have fairly, I would say, very comprehensive documentation. So if you want to know how to build on Matic, what kind of projects are there, things like that, you can find all that information on our website. You can join our Discord. You can also reach out to me if you have any questions, technical, non-technical, all of that. I'd love to take you through that. And yeah, so I mean, prize pool aside, so InOut is one of the hackathons. We also, would like to, for example, take teams from InOut into like a formal incubation program, try and connect you with investors, VCs in the blockchain space, and try and take projects, which are from India to the next level. We've done that with several projects already, and we'd love it if we get an interesting, amazing new project out of InOut, which we can incubate, take to the next 5 or 10,000 users, and sort of scale you from there. So I think this is something which we really want to see. I know the talent is there. I know that you guys can do it. So I wish you guys all the best. And yes, hope to see you guys and interact with you guys in the next coming days. Thank you. And if you have any questions, you can just post them on the chat. I can take them there as well. Yeah.
Hey Arjun, thanks for that really quick and sweet intro to Matic. I'm not sure. Let me see if there are any questions as of now. I can't see any questions at the moment.
Sure, no worries. Right.
But then when we have our workshop later on, I think there'll be more to discuss.
Definitely. Yeah. So for those, since I kind of missed covering that. So we're putting together this workshop to help you understand Matic better, to how to build on Matic, what are some of the tips and tricks, hacks you can use to sort of do a great job and build great applications on blockchain. So we'll be doing that next week. So I hope to see many of you there as well. Yeah.
Right. Sounds good, Arjun. Amit, we can have you now on stage. Let me just probably should work. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Hey, so I am now on stage. Just so everyone knows, I am very nervous. So prepare for any, things that don't work out. That's all on me. Now, the way it works out is I met Denver very recently, and one of the most brilliant and smart people that I've ever met. And the entire way they handle this is, from our perspective, astounding. We are not actually a product co. We're a consulting firm. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'll run you through a very short presentation. I'm not very good at ad lib speaking, or actually I am and I speak too much. So this should at least give you some wide context. I'll give an introduction of who we are. And then I'm going to give you like a bunch of tips as to what we recommend you should do when you're hacking. We've been doing consulting for the past 10 years and we've experimented a lot. And I think these things would hypothetically allow you to at least have direction in what you do. Because one of the hardest things to do in a hackathon is figuring out what to build. And it wastes an insane amount of time when you're doing that. And hopefully this should give you the direction that you need. So I'm going to start presenting my screen. I have no idea whether it will work. So please guys, drop in the chat. Let us know if it works out, because I'm very new to this. So help me help you and the loop. So I'm actually presenting my screen right now, and I won't be able to see what's happening on the other side, but I'm going to be running you through this. So what exactly is Riref? We're a consulting firm who've been there for 10 years. The name is basically an anagram for river, and we're a collective of very, very interesting people who build a lot of fun stuff in a way. And we've been doing this for a very long time. Now, I'm actually going to start presenting so that it's easier. Now, the next thing that we have is what exactly are we as an entity? Now, compared to most organizations, we're a default open company. What this means is that everything within the Rev is publicly transparent. You know everyone's salaries, you know the budgets, you know the revenues for everything. Even besides that, we as a firm actually don't really have responsibilities defined from our perspective. We have you enable your skills and interests. So when you come in, we have you define what you're good at, and we try to figure out a way to work around that rather than defining it for you and directing it. Because in the long term, the way we see it, that is something that will allow the firm to actually innovate and scale in a way that most firms aren't able to. Even besides that, one of the most important things for us is non-exclusive employment. Like, we do not think that companies should tie down individuals to a single entity. No one pays enough money for that. That is the reason that when you work with us, you do not actually stick just to us. Besides that, we actually actively promote exploration outside of your comfort zone. So we'll actively push you into areas that you do not necessarily would generally go to, not necessarily even related to work, because the idea is that if you don't grow as an individual, what is the point of living, right? So that is how we are as a firm. Now, the way it works out is, what exactly are the core strengths of Relay? Why exactly is the firm the way it is? One, intuitive communication is something that we focus a lot on, like over communicate rather than under. This is something that applies for all teams. We've learned that the hard way. Like, if you're not being able to do something, talk about it. If you're being able to do something, talk about it. If you figure something out, talk about it. At the end of the day, as long as communication is flowing, things are working out. Transparency and ethics are the reason that we are good at what we do. Like, before you build something, please think about what you build and why you build it. It's very important. We're living in dystopian, pretty shitty times, and this will make sure that it's slightly less shittier. And transparency above everything else. If you can actually make the information public, try and make it public. Making it be something that is not public usually means there's something that would help if it's public, like sunlight over everything else. The next thing that we have, I have no idea why exactly I couldn't change slides for a second. I didn't actually present this beforehand. Is I wanted to do some shout outs for firms that we worked with. These are some of the projects that we worked with over the course of years that were very fun. Bombay Shirt Company was one of the first e-commerce clients that we had. We had a lot of fun with them. Elle India is one of the biggest fashion magazines, and they're very, very beautiful, brilliant people at what they do. NH7 Weekender, even though I've never been to a music concert, it was a lot of fun designing a website for them. Coral Woman is the story of a lady who at the age of 54 learned how to do scuba diving so that she could paint coral. I highly recommend you go watch it when you get the time. It's very, very inspiring. The last two are the favorites of recent times: Swiggy's new initiatives and Swiggy Labs. We got the opportunity to work with them when I moved to Bangalore, and it's been a lot of fun. Like, they're working on moonshot ideas that eventually will be the sort of industry and technology that powers the next 10 years of India. And it was a lot of fun to work with them. And Chota Library was one of the projects that allowed us to focus on social causes, but not taking into account government or NGO organizations. Like, how do you come together as a community to help causes that matter? This is basically what we are. We've been doing this for 10 years. When we started, we were literally two college graduates who decided that we wanted to set standards, even though we had no industry experience and no idea what we were doing. But it worked out because we always experimented. We were, very specific with the sort of clients that we worked with. It worked out in a very, very positive way. Now, this is us, and that's all nice and great. How exactly does this now come back to the hackathon? What exactly do we think, we can actually give you as information that should enable you to, build something that you're really, really proud of? Now, the way I've broken this down is we've actually created different ideas for you that you should look at, but don't copy them the way we see it. Use them as a way of exploring the different spaces that are available. The first one is reuse, recycle, and rebuild. So one of the biggest problems in India is we don't actually reuse a lot of the resources that are already in the system. So this is something that is gigantic as a market and a playing field. iFixit, which is basically a wiki-based service that allows you to basically fix anything. It's insanely good for exploration. Anything that has to do with recycling is something that is underexplored in India. This is something that we recommend that you actually possibly look into. So these are some of the ones that we want you to actually potentially look at. The next one is communities and civics. Now, the way it works out is, if you've seen the biggest startups or companies that have actually taken on in recent times are building platforms that enable communities to come together and exchange information that are either experiential or culture-based, because in the long term, that is what defines what your life works out as. So Adda, which is a company in Bangalore, allows housing societies to have a shared forum. And this is something that makes them more efficient at operation, and even besides that, exchanging information and just bonding in general than most housing societies across India. Another thing that you have is Etsy, which is something that India doesn't have at the same level, which allows you to share, a lot of DIY crafts and things that normally would be, very hard to, get a market for. So again, this is something that we would actively ask you to explore if it's something that you have as an idea. The next thing that you have is sports and travel. Obviously, all of us are inside, and it's not a lot of fun. Anything that allows you to, do any sort of physical activity, take better care of yourself, and even besides that, explore places that you've not been to is a very good thing. One of the outliers and one of the things that stands out a lot is Nomad List. I would love for you to check out. All of these are actually links. When you click on them, they'll actually go to the website. Nomad List was created by someone who would go to various parts of the world and basically just, it was an Excel file at some point. The guy eventually created that into a product, and right now it's a community. It has a forum. It has the capability for you to basically have the information for any city in the world in a very, very clear format, right from the Airbnb to the hotel price to the cost of living to everything, to the pollution level to the safety level. And it eventually became a product that was very, very useful. So from your perspective, just check Nomad List, even if you don't check the other ones out. The last two ones that we have left is education and tools. We all know about the things that's happening right now with education in the startup space. It's not very fun. But one of the things that might change it is if we focus on tools that are based on intuitive learning and visual learning, allowing you to think about what learning is rather than just rote learning and passing examinations and everything. So this is something that we've linked right now. Like Brilliant is a very, very, very good tool for learning a lot of things, and they use very innovative techniques for teaching it to you. Hire is a platform that is very new. They literally started in June this year, which allows teachers to learn from other teachers. So again, from your perspective, if this is something that is an area that you're interested in, we think that exploration is very, very nice. The last is food, barter, and fun. The idea behind this is that keep it light. Not everything needs to be a unicorn. A lot of services and products actually start as very small, fun activities. My favorite from these is actually RunP, which is basically an app that allows you to know at what points in the movie can you actually stop and go pee, even if the movie is playing, because the scene is not important. It's a very simple niche app, but it is so fun. That is the thing that if it's possible for you guys, focus on that area. And shared experiences is again something that, if you can figure out, is very nice to do. Now, one of the things that you have to understand is you're basically all in technology, and all of us are engineers, and we have a lot of power right now. So these are the recommendations that we have for, when you're hacking, what are the things you should do. Please work on something that you love. Don't do it for the venture capital. Don't do it for the money. Don't do it for someone else. Do it for yourself. Funso Kwangru nailed it. Like, if you actually like it and you love it, that is what will eventually work out. Anything else will not. We've been doing it for 10 years. I've applied to Y Combinator 6 times, interviewed twice. And every time when it didn't work out or it did work out, the thing was that we didn't love it enough. So that is the thing that I recommend. Please do not reinvent the wheel. Engineers love making frameworks. Don't do that. If you want to hypothetically work on something, find something that's already there, build on top of it. There's so much out there already. And the last and the most important thing, I keep coming back to it, the Peter Parker principle is the thing. We have an insane amount of power. Please use it responsibly, because whatever you build will eventually come back around. It might come back around to you. So, be careful with whatever it is. And we'll actually make this deck accessible to you. And I'll close with the fact that whatever I've said, whatever anyone says is irrelevant if it doesn't actually, make sense for you. Please do only what makes sense for you. And if it doesn't, question it. Always question everything. I'm basically going to wrap it up now because I think, I spoke way longer than I was supposed to. But if you guys have any questions, please let us know. And I'll make this deck available so that you guys can actually explore it from your perspective whenever you want to. So I'll leave it to Denver to actually let me know if there's any questions. Sorry, Denver, I went way overboard.
No, Amit, that was wonderful. And a lot of things that, that we could personally relate to, having a similar journey in the startup world, right? Simply amazing. And, I'm sure hackers will make the best use of your words.